These people are participating in a baited shark cage dive. The cage is there to provide a safety barrier between them and the sharks. These people are on a baited shark dive without a cage. So what's keeping them safe? Well, that person's even committing the yum yum yellow foul. Is anything we've been told about sharks true at all? Dan and I are walking between the dive centers, and as you'll notice the sign above us, this one advertises cage diving. On the other hand, a dive shop such as this one is adamantly against cage diving, as you can see there. So what's going on here? What's with the difference of opinion with cages?
Well, one of the arguments around here is that if you're promoting an experience with cages on a dive site like this, then you're still promoting fear and the fact that you need a cage to be able to survive this experience with sharks.
On the other hand, you might be reaching a broader population, a wider audience of people who would absolutely not get in the water if you weren't offering them the cage, and they would otherwise never see a shark. But you might be leaving a little bit of fear in their mind that they needed the cage.
One of the things that we've been hearing most around here is that everyone that seems to go shark diving, whether that's in a cage or not, comes out of the water with a totally new experience and a total new realization of how amazing sharks are.
Well, the difference between shark diving, from my standpoint, is huge between cage diving and cageless diving. If you're a businessman, there's no question you need to be cage diving. Because if you're interested in making money, why not go with the market of the whole world? You don't have to be certified to get in a cage. It's so simple. Aside from that, how are you going to screw up in a cage? It's pretty hard. So cage diving is a much, much better business proposition than cageless diving.
Personally, when I first learned that they offered cage diving with other species than the white shark, I thought it was a joke. I didn't realize that people actually did that, because as I had learned via not using a cage, it wasn't necessary to use a cage. I know you're tempted to bring up the great white shark and that all diving with great whites is cage diving. Well, legally, or at least when you're expecting to see the white shark.
You're talking about cage diving in this area, as opposed to cage diving with a great white. And how would you say the perception of that person leaving the cage dive with a great white is as compared to a person that's got out the cage with the black tips and the tigers over here? And I honestly, when I left that cage, I was thinking to myself, there is no ways in this God's earth that I am getting out of that cage with this particular shark.
That's coming from a guy who swam right through a mass of feeding sharks, including white sharks, tiger sharks, bull sharks, and oceanic blacktips. It makes you wonder about the difference of perception of a person who started out not using a cage and then later saw it from the perspective of a cage, and vice versa. The negativity that Walter was referring to was seeing the sharks pursuing the bait right in front of the bars of a cage, which, if you're seeing their teeth and they're chasing it down, can be an intimidating sight. Unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, there is no other way to see white sharks without attracting them close to the boat in such a manner, other than you just happen to see a shark out in the wild. But as far as a tourism operation goes, the sharks just don't want to be around us enough to do it where they're going to just come up and say hi to you. Jim and Walter represent a polar extreme of the population, people who dive with sharks on a daily basis and have been doing it their entire lives. On the other end of the spectrum are people who have never seen sharks, and as far as they're concerned, they're all like Jaws. When you think about it like that, seeing a white shark from a cage is still a positive when you go from anything better than thinking that they are all Jaws. For me personally, my biggest takeaway from the first time that I went cage diving with white sharks was being shocked at their slow motion, almost ghost-like gliding and kind of just cruising around the cage calmly. There wasn't a whole lot of that whole scary ha ha ha. It does happen, but that's really not what I took from it. You know, it's not like I was under the illusion that white sharks weren't these crazy, impressive predators with great big teeth that hunted seals. In fact, if anything, I'm guilty of being almost disappointed that the white sharks were as calm and calculating as they were. I wanted them to be more monstrous than they were. I can personally attest that yes, you can be out of a cage with white sharks and survive. However, I would never do with white sharks what I did with these oceanic blacktips. I'm not even talking about when they were throwing the bait at me at the surface. I'm talking about when we were descending on a day with absolutely no visibility and we were feeling the sharks hitting us before we could even see them. I don't want a group of white sharks hitting me while I can't see them. First of all, if you've discovered a dive site where a pack of white sharks is circling around you, you've discovered a pretty special dive site. I'm not saying if the white shark would bite me on accident, but I am saying that in that low visibility, I am not interested in letting him make the same mistake that an oceanic blacktip might make. It doesn't even have to be a mistake. It doesn't even have to be a bite. You're talking about a huge animal. You're going from a 100-pound animal to something that is in the 1,000-pound range. An animal that can damage you without its teeth and on accident as it swims by. Its caudal fin could easily knock me out and I would drown. Anyway, a few random thoughts to consider on the topic of shark cage diving. So what do you think about it? What are the pros and cons in your mind? Do you believe in cage diving at all? Do you believe in no cages? Do you believe in shark diving?